Welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, the number one crypto show on Rumble, of course, powered by our friends over at Solum Global with your hosts, Lance Vigliaccio, and of course, George Ballantine, the Crypto Bros. And what is this? It's your ultimate deep dive into everything crypto, blockchain, and decentralized finance. I don't care whether you're a seasoned investor or a newbie just stepping into the world of digital assets for the very first time. We're going to bring you expert insights, top interviews, exciting new projects, breaking news, and game-changing innovations shaping the future of digital assets. Because on this show, in crypto, we trust. George B., man, how are you, brother?
I'm good. It's early in the morning. I mean, it's a lot to cover here. We got, so much speculation, so much stuff going on. And, I'm going to say how it is. So many people shooting their loads without even taking their time to find out what's going on. I'm going to leave it like that.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. People are jumping the gun. I took a little poke because I thought it was funny. I'm sure some people will, the maxis probably won't like it, but that's kind of what does. A lot of people want to speculate. Of course, some of it's clickbait, some of it's truth. There has been some crazy amount of truth coming out. But before we jump in, let's thank one of our sponsors. Besides crypto, George and I love silver and gold. We work with the guys over at Genesis Gold Group. They're one of the sponsors of our show. And of course, I'm holding up the Prepper Bar, the 62.2 gram Prepper Bar available. This one happens to be in silver, but they are available in gold and silver, and they've got them in stock right now. And let me tell you something. It doesn't matter where this is for diversification, asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or of course, the Prepper Bar's very unique utility for barter and trade, because as you can see, there's 3 different denominations on there. You can just break off a small piece if you need to make a payment. If your credit cards aren't working, if the US dollar has tanked, you never really know what's going on behind the scenes. $40 trillion in debt. You better have a backup plan. The Prepper Bar is your backup plan. Gold and silver is your backup plan. Stick it in your gun safe, stick it in a sock drawer, stick it in your safety deposit box, stick it in your wallet, just in case you need to get to it very quickly. Head over to thebigmcbar.com, use promo code all caps Prepper. That's PREPPR, all caps PREPPR. That'll get you 10% off on the silver and 5% off on the gold. Thebigmcbar.com, or you can use that QR code, take a snapshot, go there after the show. Don't go there now. You're going to want to stick around because we got a lot to cover. And that's what it is, getting you guys educated so you don't miss out on generational wealth.
Break me off a piece of that Prepper Bar.
So everybody's in a tizzy. 3 million pages of documents, lots and lots of stuff in there that's never been disclosed before. George, how do you like the thumbnail?
Let's just go with the show, Lance, right now.
Oh, well, you don't see who that is, do you?
I see who it is.
Satoshi Nakamoto with Epstein's face on it. Of course, I took the statue, had AI do it. A lot of the Bitcoin maxis are freaking out about it. George, what do you think? I don't think he's Satoshi Nakamoto by any means, but I do think he appears to have been involved in the coding of the late stages of Bitcoin through MIT grants.
You want my
some of the people in the program?
You want my answer?
Of course.
I'll give you my answer, and we can get into this later. I'll give you the short, and then I'll give you all my knowledge and everything I have. No, he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, and no, he did not have anything to do with generating code, anything to do with the code of Bitcoin. All he did was donate money to MIT for the developers because they were strapped for cash. I'll get into it more later. We can go down a timeline and go over everything because, I mean, there's just so much to cover and so much speculation. But you know what, Lance? I think people are putting that out there. And listen, I'm an XRP holder. We love XRP. I got nothing against Bitcoin. I got Bitcoin too. I think people are just doing that just to drive the price of Bitcoin down and drive XRP up. Because there is part of this scandal where Epstein did try to manipulate XRP, and who was it? Solana is the other one, Lance?
He tried to really impact XRP, Ripple, XLM, and he did do some stuff with Solana also. Though Solana he attacked because of what had happened to them where they had that issue. Yeah, so he kind of just wanted to make sure that got well publicized. So kind of inadvertently, where the other attacks on Ripple, XRP, and XLM were direct attacks that he seemed to be orchestrating.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he was a good character. I don't like him. I still don't think he's dead. He was
I agree with you.
He wanted to get his hands in everything. I mean, It's just a crazy situation, but
Greedy guy, manipulative, well-connected. And yeah, there is a guard in the Epstein files that says that he believes Epstein was transported out 2 days before. A lot of people have done side by sides. They said the body was not Epstein, but that's not why we're here for this show. We're here to cover what's got to do with crypto and what Epstein's got to do. So, of course, this is all about the unsealed Jeffrey Epstein files. Over 3 million pages, emails, documents, photos, video. And those records were, of course, released by the Department of Justice under a lot of pressure from the Epstein File Transparency Act. So what does that mean? The crypto world's been thrust into chaos. That's what we've got right now. You can see people panicking online. Now, let me be clear. Some people are fabricating stuff. Even I grabbed something that I thought was legitimate. It was an email. I caught it last minute. I had to pull it out. So, this is bombshell stuff. A lot of it started 2011 and moved forward from there. There seems to be a lot of discussions in his emails all the way up to current times until Epstein was jailed and, of course, then later allegedly committed suicide, which I don't believe. But okay, let's say he did. So these entanglements with Bitcoin's foundational infrastructure, elite tech networks. He made an early investment in Coinbase, deliberate campaigns to stifle competitors. Of course, like Ripple's XRP and Stellar XLM. He also did some stuff attacking Solana, it appears, making sure that the news that they were having a problem was being, that people were well aware of it. And then he tried to push the narrative online. There's been a lot of online speculation, including the fact some people think he is Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't believe that. I agree with George. But the Epstein donations to MIT are troubling. They facilitated a bunch of funding for Bitcoin developers. His emails revealed disdain for XRP as a threat to the ecosystem being built around Bitcoin. Of course, you and I and George probably believe that the Ripple XRP ecosystem is a much more, much more complete blockchain, a much more, usable. Bitcoin's on an older code. I'm not an anti-Bitcoiner. I just don't know that Bitcoin will be here forever. Of course, it's a store of value. Lots of people love it. But this story doesn't end with suppression. Solana, emerging from the ashes, of course, similar elite manipulations, particularly through its ties to FTX and SBF. You guys know all about that debacle. And, of course, Alameda Research. Now, they operate in the Bahamas, and that was amid overlapping banking networks, Epstein's offshore dealings, which were very, very vast. But look, Solana pulled it out. They got back on top. But listen, XRP and XLM have continued to be, I would call, suppressed. Now, I think it's interesting that this Coinbase investment, I didn't know that Epstein put money into Coinbase in 2014. So that in itself is pretty interesting. But these are direct Bitcoin ties. I guess this was an $850,000 MIT donation that Epstein indirectly funded, which, of course, funded 3 out of 5 key Bitcoin core developers via the Digital Currency Initiative, abbreviation DCI. And that took over after Bitcoin's foundation in 2015 collapsed. So he CC'd on strategies. Some people say he might have potentially embedded institutional control. There's been some statements online made about Israel. I don't know if any of that is valid. I'm suspicious of that. But knowing Epstein, he always had a plan. If plan A didn't work, he always had B, C, D, E, F. Now, the suppression of XRP and Stellar make a lot of sense to me. Why wouldn't he want to attack superior chains? And of course, he contacted, for example, Blockstream CEO Austin Hill, warned that investing in Ripple and XRP and Stellar harms the Bitcoin ecosystem, urging allocation cuts. Now, this foreshadows the SEC's lawsuit, which was later. This is 2020. We're talking about when Gary the Weasel Gensler, we like to call him on this show, brought that lawsuit, which cost XRP holders billions in delistings. It still hangs over the head of XRP. I'm not positive that everybody that holds XRP isn't due a major settlement from the U.S. government, because Gary Gensler, based on what we've seen in the emails, probably committed malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance by a government official using his government power to attack a company I'd have to believe that a settlement could be in the future of Ripple, but again, I don't know all the details of what's going on behind the scenes. So 2018 emails from Epstein, to Larry Summers described Gensler as pretty smart and interested in digital currencies. I don't know if that's true, but okay. Gensler joined MIT's Epstein tainted media lab. Later, of course, leading the SEC's selective enforcement against Ripple while sparing both Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I thought was always suspicious. George, did you ever wonder why, if Gensler was so anti-crypto, how he only targeted Ripple and XRP, and why?
Because he wanted them to fail, and he wanted whatever project he was secretly involved in to prosper. I mean, Gensler's a freaking snake. I mean, you were talking earlier to me, and you made a great point. This is, this afternoon. You said, man, XRP has a great lawsuit against the government, and who's going to end up paying for it? The taxpayers, because they were holding holding Ripple into this lawsuit, just keeping it there, trying to push them down, try to get them to tank. Can you imagine if Trump didn't win, where we'd be right now?
Very likely, based on our other show, who knows, you and I might have been sitting in jail. They planned on going after a lot of us, especially if you guys know our other show. We have the Big Mig Show on Rumble. And even though it's not all politics, it's like 30-40% more conservative leaning, but we get a lot of different guests on. But there's no doubt we disclosed a lot of stuff. We've uncovered a lot of stuff. Who knows? Ugly. But here's the deal. I didn't know about Epstein's investment in Coinbase. I never knew about it. And it seems like they didn't make it public. Now, this happened in 2014, and it happened via Brock Pierce, who back then was still deeply entrenched with Tether. He was one of the co-founders, which linked him to platforms that later delisted XRP amid the SEC suit. So as you know, Coinbase delisted XRP. So, why wouldn't he want to do that? It would make Coinbase more valuable. It would make Bitcoin potentially more valuable to take one of the biggest players out of the mix.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Brock Pierce, because Brock Pierce was Epstein's go-to person for anything crypto. And you all seen Brock Pierce, things he's been involved in, how they collapsed. It's just a lot of bad history following that guy when it comes with crypto. It's no surprise.
He is a smart guy, but I get you. And then the shadows that fell onto Solana, even though they weren't directly named in the documents, a lot of people said the implied was that Solana's ecosystem overlapped with FTX and Alameda, which their Bahamas operations are tied into banks like Deltec, allegedly used by Epstein for lots of offshore dealings. So it's interesting how Solana was able to kind of break out and get back on track even after everything with FTX and SBF. But it shows that, utility tokens can definitely outlast rigged systems. So good news for the Solana people, not so great for XRP and XLM so far, but there are a lot of implications here we're going to have to cover. And I really think this XRP community demands government disclosures on Epstein's policy influence. And I think, there's going to be a big shift here. We're going to have more transparency.
You know what it is?
Yeah.
You just said they want to see what influence he had. It's just like he's a lobbyist. He was a crypto lobbyist for his Bitcoin and whatever he was involved in. I mean, if you look at, all right, he invested in Coinbase. Me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with that, because he did invest in a lot of things. It's a project. And if but if you look at all of his nefarious activities, all the things he's done, the manipulation, the blackmail, he'd want to use crypto to hide those, do those transactions and not let anybody see the money.
Are you talking about his trafficking operations?
Yeah, everything, all this stuff. I mean, Lance, they focus so much on his trafficking operation of kids and women and men and boys that they're not. There has to be more stuff in there where he's manipulating or blackmailing government officials, not only in the United States, but all over the world. Because that was his forte. That was his thing.
I believe he participated in blackmail and compromising people. I also believe he dealt in insider trading. He had lots of resources, lots of information. And I'd be surprised if his trades weren't perfectly timed at different times. Because I never really felt like Epstein made a legitimate dollar. I feel like everything he did was nefarious. But that being said, I think this new transparency, the potential lawsuits for Ripple and XRP, they could go after the SEC, they could go after MIT, they could go after Bitcoin insiders, they could go after Gary Gensler because he reached outside of what his job duties were here. He wasn't supposed to use his job to specifically target somebody. So as an individual, he could probably be sued. So I hope that Ripple goes after all of them because it's an ugly thing when you see government power like this misused. And I would want the same thing if it was the Bitcoin people had been attacked like that. So whoever it is, I think they deserve relief. Now you got to go into, let's talk about timelines here. Epstein's always had Ponzi foundations. He always started with, his one of the first things with Towers Financial Corp, where he masterminded a $450 million Ponzi scheme in the 1980s. Now, this is through the 1980s and 1990s, but he evaded full prosecutions through a bunch of elite connections. And by the 1990s, he entangled with arms dealers like Douglas Lease and offshore banking networks in the Virgin Islands and Bahamas. Of course, they were later linked in those hubs to crypto laundering. Some of the early laundering that was done with Silk Road connected to that. So these early frauds honed his skills. He got better and better, and you guys know it, manipulating financial systems, manipulating people. Maybe this is when he started to think that blackmail and compromise might be really helpful. I don't know. We don't have an exact time of when he started those operations. So 2002 to 2010, MIT Access Crypto Awareness. Let's talk about that, George, because Epstein donates $850,000 to MIT.
Okay. Let's talk about it. So, Bitcoin was an experiment. It started off an experiment with the NSA and MIT, and from there they kept going with it, building on it. At one point, their funding was running low, and so. If you look at the NSA and you look at Epstein, Epstein was definitely involved with the CIA, whether an asset, an agent, whatever, and that Mossad. So it makes sense that maybe they went to him and say, "Yo, we need you to put in some money to this because they can't do it." So why not use him as a proxy? Could be, but even though if he didn't donate, I mean, I don't. He didn't have no access to code or any influence on the code because you would see it. And I mean, you want me to go through that part now, or you want to do it later?
No, and I want to just tell the audience this image we just threw in there was the email that I thought was legitimate beginning from when I first found it. So you got to be careful. I'm going to warn you that there are already lots of people, that want to push Bitcoin, that want to undermine X. There are all kinds of stuff flying around right now. So you really got to be careful where you're getting the information because even us, we can get tricked. I mean, the thing looks legit. You can see it. If it didn't have that not in the files on there, it would look like a legitimate email. They even aged the paper where it looked like it was like a fax. I mean, it's crazy, right? So, but, here's the deal. He was making fun of Ross Ulbricht. So, and joking around about how, forget it, the guy used a Gmail account. But meanwhile, he's talking about stuff. If anybody had these emails, there probably would have been lots of charges against him. So I'm not sure he should have been mocking Ross. But look, I think there was some involvement in the coding and maybe trying to make things go a way that he wanted. How does that affect the Bitcoin coding? I don't know. And I don't know if I'm right. I really don't, because at the end of the day, that's going to take a lot of investigation. And I don't know that we even have open source may not be enough. But look, 2011, 2013, direct Bitcoin engagements. Epstein emails Bitcoin developers like Amir Taki and investor Jason Calacanis seeking intel or influence. Was he successful? We really don't know. Then on October 13, 2011, he emailed to associates in Bose. I've spoken to some of the founders of Bitcoin who are very excited. And in 2011, he discussed another one, potential investments, noting Bitcoin's ambiguity. Is it a currency or property? We need to shape this. I mean, I don't know why he would make a statement like that, but I do believe this about Epstein, George, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. I feel like he's kind of a guy that would manipulate. He might have had contact with the Bitcoin people, and maybe it really was nothing other than him emailing them. And who knows if they even responded back. My point is that maybe he's taking things and he's embellishing it.
That's a very great point, Lance. You know what? I never thought about that. That's an awesome point. It could be because, listen, he wanted to get involved in a lot of things. And listen, back then you could look at Bitcoin like you could have those wallets. Nobody knew whose wallets had what. You can, send Bitcoin, legally, however you want to do it. And it was, in the early parts, it was great for people that were doing illegal activities or anything. But I mean, that never crossed my mind. I love that. He was embellishing. Yeah, I mean, well, he's an embellisher, right?
I listen, sometimes it makes sense to me that you're telling a story, right? People do it for clicks. He's trying to raise money. He's trying to make money. He's trying to get people for fees. But here's the email that Jason Calacanis, and it seems like they're familiar. Hey, pal, running out to a kid's birthday party. We'll dig up their info. So these folks who are not trying to build a business, they are crazy open source folks who are radicals. Their motivation is more in line with WikiLeaks or Wikipedia. I had these guys on my TV show on the web, YouTube Startups, Gavin Anderson and Amir Taki, Bitcoin. Best J. Now, the way he's talking, it seems like he has a relationship with Calacanis. But it goes on. And then he goes on, I would like to get in touch with the Bitcoin guys. I'm happy to see you're doing well. So does that mean anything now? It looks like, we've got another one here, and this one appears, I don't know. I don't know how to read this one, George. I'm not sure. This has got to do potentially with lots of different things, but it says, we did not get a meeting arranged yet with your secretary. Nonetheless, one of the members of our group is now in New York on business. Would you be interested to meet with him? Shall I pass on your number to call him? Now, this is Amir Taki talking to him, Bitcoin developer. So I don't know what the meeting was about. They don't go into the details of it. He does say, Amir, the Bitcoin idea is brilliant, but I suggest this is Epstein now, has some serious downsides, as I am sure you're aware. If you can find time, please call my office. That phone number's been redacted. But that doesn't necessarily, again, that's a dialogue that doesn't really tell us what was said. Maybe it happened on phone calls. Now, whether or not there's any recordings of those phone calls, I have no idea. I had heard stories that Epstein recorded every single time he was on a phone. So
if you look at the bottom of this email where it says where the first part of it, it says, this is Epstein writing. It says, Amir, the Bitcoin idea is brilliant, but I suggest has some serious downsides, as I'm sure you're aware. If you can find time, please call my office. And it's redacted. So,
yeah, I just,
right. So, and it seems like he was trying to get himself injected. I mean, according to this, but it seems like he was trying to get himself injected into it. Why? We don't know, because he's not around to tell us why, but
because that was the reply. Because he was on the 7th, July 7th, and that's on June 12th. Oh no, you're right. That was the first message. I'm sorry.
Right. So
he sent that on June. So you don't know what he's injecting for. I agree with you, George.
Yeah.
You really don't know what the basis was.
It was June 12th.
Saw an opportunity, and who knows? He might have thought it was the ultimate money laundering tool at that time, because he wanted to launder money.
Okay, so this email answers a question for all you people out there putting some bad information out, saying that Jeffrey Epstein is Satoshi Nakamoto. If he was, he wouldn't be needing to write emails like this and asking to be involved or whatever he's trying to do. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Common sense, people. Think. Use your brains. Not do research. You're hurting the movement more than anything. Oh, that aggravates me. Sorry.
So those Bitcoin, no, I think you're right. Those Bitcoin messages, those emails are 2011, mid-year. And then you roll around to 2014, and he makes investments in Coinbase. An anti-XRP campaign kind of begins at that point. So he invests his $3 million in Coinbase. I don't know if that $3 million. By the way, George, any idea what was the value of Coinbase in 2014? Was it even public yet?
I'm not sure, but I believe he ended up partially sold it later for roughly like 15 million.
Okay. Bet he wishes he had it now.
But
or
that,
his
that's
estate
actually,
does.
but it was, it was private equity flow.
Yeah. Okay. So that was Brock Pierce, and that was Blockchain Capital. Now, it's just interesting because now he's tied into that's really stablecoin and exchange infrastructure. So now he's kind of got an inroad, and it turns out some of the documents confirm Mr. Epstein independently invested through his own entity, IGO Company LLC, and that email from Austin Hill to Epstein states Ripple and Jed's new Stellar project is bad for the ecosystem we're building, and we believe investors investing in two horses in the same race are harming our company. I'd suggest reducing your allocation to avoid conflicts. So this is where you get the first overt suppression of Ripple and XRP's utility for banks, threatening, of course, Bitcoin's dominance as digital gold, as a store of value. Ripple dismisses direct links, but the email validates XRP holders' conspiracy theories. But look, there's a lot of connections, and this map here kind of starts connecting the dots. A lot of this has got to do with interactions and timing. Somebody else created this. I grabbed it off of X out of their thread because I thought that it really kind of laid it out to show you where all the bits and pieces. So that's something that if you guys want, you can take a screen capture and then you can blow it up and take a look. Pretty small print to be able to go over it. But there's a lot of connections there where the dots are starting to get connected. Now, here's an interesting one, George. Reid Hoffman was CC'd on this.
Bad actor. Go ahead.
Bad actor's right. Although he does love his kids, it seems like, at least allegedly. Also, we knew he had a relationship with Epstein. So this is Austin Hill. And he CC'd, so it goes to Epstein. It goes to somebody else, Joichi Ito, which I don't know that name. I don't know who that is. And Reid Hoffman. Hi, guys. We obviously have seen www.stellar.org about. I'm not sure what the relationship with Jed and the team are. I know obviously some of the players, but this is a problem for us. Would one of you please give me a call at blank, block that. I can explain some of the issues, but basically I've been asked by the other co-founders to reduce or take your allocation away. Ripple and Jed's new Stellar are bad for the ecosystem we are building, and it does not, and it does our company damage to have investors who are backing two horses in the same race. So same line of crap back in the game. Happy to discuss a fair way to deal with this. Austin.
I wonder who Jed is.
I don't know. I don't want to say it, but I was thinking somebody, but I'm not going to say.
Jed who?
Administration.
No, that's Jeb. J-E-B. This is Jeb.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. I thought the same. I know you're going with this.
I was like, my God, is that really?
Yeah, you're thinking of Bush. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 2015 Bitcoin dev funding takeover. So the Bitcoin Foundation collapsed at this point among a bunch of scandals. You got MIT's DCI bolstered by Epstein's funds. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. They start assume payments for like devs like Gavin Anderson, right? So they're making the payments to these devs that are working on the code. This name I'm going to blow up, but Wladimir van der Laan. So shows that Epstein CC'd on emails with 74.79% of Bitcoin's code committed post 2011 under this shadow. So this is the tricky part because you got to wonder what influence, if any, did Epstein have on the code? Maybe he didn't. But this guy, Joy Ito, brags in that email. We moved fast and won the dispute over dev funding. Now we control the evolution. So, of course, that centralized control contrasts with XRP and Stellar's decentralized aims, which now that really escalates the rivalries. And Epstein goes into overdrive at this point, trying to do everything he can to stop it. And how does he do it, George?
I'm sorry, by amplifying his rivalries. I mean,
what's the move he makes? We're talking about 2017 and 18.
Are you talking about Gensler? I'm sorry, Lance.
Gensler the Weasel.
Yeah. So I was focused on something. I'm sorry, guys, because you were saying something. You're saying Joy Toy brags in a 2015 email, and it's going back to what you said before about is Epstein, are they just bragging, trying to make themselves look bigger than they are and stuff? And it's right here. They are bragging in the email. So a lot of stuff I don't believe. I mean, the price did drop then. Here's a chart. Oh, but I think you're right. I think that was a great point you made. You're just being grandiose.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, listen, he's a great salesman. He sold a lot of people over the years. Come to my island, come here. And
so a lot of kids. So a lot of kids too.
Right. So this email we're talking about is May 5th, 2018. He starts talking. Gensler wants to talk digital currencies. Another on May 7th calls him pretty smart, referencing Treasury and Goldman ties. He's pretty smart on this stuff, wants to advise on digital currencies despite no direct experience. Gensler at that point joins MIT's Media Lab, despite that he had zero blockchain experience. That seems unnerving. And that he's going to be advising on crypto. Epstein sells half his Coinbase stake, so he still had half of it, for $15 million profit. Steve Bannon comes into the picture.
What? Who?
Oh yeah, Steve Bannon.
Who?
Steve Bannon.
I know.
Did I say Steve Bannon yet?
You know, two people that people think were really good in the community, but I think they are sheep in wolf's clothing. Is one of them is Bannon, the other one is Brock Pierce. But go ahead, Lance.
Steve Bannon connects Epstein to the FEC experts on crypto campaign finance loopholes, hinting at political weaponization in a 2018 email. We can use this for taxation loopholes in campaigns.
You could use it for foreign donations back then.
Well, why don't you read him that next email there, George?
I'm lost. Which one? The 2021
one below the picture of Gensler.
Oh, the whole email I just had up?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. The Crimson wrote that Angela Davis donated papers not sold. Okay. Work for me at Trade.
I think you might. The top of it says "Do not share" or quote in the subject line.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Okay. Do not share or quote.
Okay.
Oh, work for me at Trey in 1990s G8 partner before that. Pretty smart. Pissed some off by tossing a bunch of 1990s policy under the bus to integrate with lib Democrats, especially Warren wing. Ooh, would that be Senator Warren? I wonder. Has to be, right? Same one that wanted to be on the crypto committee, wanted to be involved. Yeah, I wonder why. Different views on his TC chairmanship. We were involved with Hillary's campaign. That's Hillary Clinton, by the way. I'm going to repeat that. Was very involved with Hillary campaign and angling for jobs. Let me go on the bottom one now part. Oh, it's highlighted too. Gary Gensler coming early. Don't know him. Wants to talk digital currencies. Views. Adding Lisa. Scary to be a guy in today's world. I don't know why, but... And it says, please direct all increases. Somebody that's blacked out. Thought you and Lisa might find amusing an aftershock of the Me Too movement. The revival of My Fair Lady has Eliza Doolittle walking out of the house when all the... I don't even know. Oh, what is that? N. Higgins says, okay, get my slippers instead. I don't know what the hell that means. Do you?
No, but he's got this thing where one of the ways he tries to develop relationships, what I see in his emails, is he always tries to come up with some kind of anecdotal or, hey, you should come down to the island. We're having a big event or big party, or, hey, why don't you come to New York and we'll go to lunch? Or he's always, and then he might tell something kind of, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? Really stupid. Like he tries to make a personal connection that goes beyond the business. So every email seems to integrate that. It's one of his tools, I believe, of manipulation, but he's good at it. 2018, 2019, expanding the networks and Epstein's death. Of course, Epstein invests in Israeli firm Carbon, C-A-R-B-Y-N-E, alongside Ehud Barak and Peter Thiel. So, of course, that's blending crypto tracking with surveillance tech.
Hmm.
I guess there's a bunch of ongoing Bitcoin briefings, 2019 email on developer updates. Keep me posted on the Bitcoin tracking tools. Now that's interesting. So did he get them connected with the guys over at Carbon? Were the coders integrating some kind of a tracking tool where everybody always thinks that Bitcoin is fairly innocuous, meaning that maybe it won't be able to track it? So I don't know what to think of that. Now, he dies in August of 2019, allegedly.
I mean, the old wallets, yeah, you weren't able to track and stuff. But now, I mean, if you go to the ledger, you can see everything on a blockchain. You can see transactions. So if you know maybe the wallet address, you could follow where it's going, who's it, and if it does a transaction, send it to.
What about the dark wallets they sell at these Bitcoin conferences? The dark wallets that have completely anonymous credentials.
Oh, they
sell them for like 10 grand.
Do they still have them? Are they still selling them?
They still have them. Yeah. I checked into it a while ago. Not for myself, but I wanted to find out if they still existed. And in fact, they do.
I mean, so let's say you had stolen Bitcoin, right? And the FBI knew your wallet address or whatever, and you sent it to that wallet. They can see in the blockchain that you sent it to that wallet, but they ain't gonna know who owns that wallet.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I never, in my opinion, the surveillance state is vast. I don't ever believe that anything is fully protected.
I mean, think about it. Remember the pipeline ransom or whatever the ransom? They wanted Bitcoin. They get paid in Bitcoin, and the FBI just happened to track them. They arrested them and got back to Bitcoin. How'd they do that?
Yeah.
They tracked it.
Yep. So Gensler becomes the SEC chair in 2021. Epstein's already allegedly dead. But 2020 SEC targets Ripple under Gensler. The SEC sues Ripple. Of course, they classify XRP as a security, and they freeze all the deals. They won't allow them to discuss anything. That's when all the contracts still going under NDA. They can't acknowledge anything that they're working on, and they have to watch about everything they're putting in the press. But it seems like since Coinbase was that delisted him right then, the connection of Epstein funding, putting money into Coinbase seems somewhat connected, in my opinion. It's a pretty good connection. But there's motive, right? Protecting Bitcoin, Ethereum from XRP's efficiency and speed. Ripple, of course, wins partial court victories, but the damages to the investors exceed $10 billion.
You know what? Gary Gensler, you got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
I like it. They should get him in front of, put him right in front. No pleading the fifth, none of that. Let's hear it. Let's see what's going on. I want to hear him explain it, Lance. I think we should go to a break and we'll come back to this. We got a lot of shit to cover still.
Sounds like a plan. Stay tuned. Take the live link, share it far and wide. Come into our chat. Let us know what you think. Of course, this is the Crypto Power Hour, powered by Solum Global. While we're on the break, hit that follow, that subscribe button. Do the $5 subscription if you can do it. Tough economy, but we can sure use the support. Or maybe throw us a Rumble Rant tip if you like what we're doing here on the show. We can always use anything you throw us, or you can tip us in crypto. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we come back, the fallout comes 2021 to 2025. Bitcoin faces a hack. Solana's emergence gets more dicey. Stay tuned.
Don't go nowhere.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these canine units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit WarriorDogFoundation.org.
All right, welcome back to the Crypto Power Hour, powered by Solum Global. Here with your host, Lance Migliaccio, yours truly, George Ballantine, the Crypto Bros. We got the Crypto Mafia in the chat, Crypto Army. Listen, if you're out there listening, watching, whatever, if you got a chance, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, the little like button. You share this on your social media. Follow us, please. And if you can subscribe for $5 a month, we truly appreciate it. It does help out with overhead and so much cost and stuff. Takes a lot to run a show, all equipment, everything. We appreciate all your love and support, and share this. Bring people here so we can help educate and get them into the crypto sphere, the new evolution of way we're going to deal with money. No more banks, no more SWIFT. But Lance and I, we got the perfect solution for the people that can't watch their crypto 24/7. And that's why we're here to tell you about BlockTrustIRA.com. They're bringing access to cryptocurrency wealth to everyday people. Their exclusive Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that go far beyond buy and hold. This is sophisticated technology that was once reserved only for Wall Street insiders, but now it's available to you. And it's no surprise this system was named #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine out of more than 1,500 global competitors. And clients are already seeing over 250% returns on their investments, all with military-grade security and up to $200 million insurance. Your wealth is fully protected, so don't wait. Visit BigMidCrypto.com today and see how you can join this financial revolution that's finally giving everyday Americans access to crypto opportunity of a lifetime. Once again, visit BigMidCrypto.com today and you can get up to $2,500 of free crypto. That's right, you can get up to $2,500 of free crypto. QR code's right on the screen. Take a screenshot, save it to your photo files, go there later. Because we got more of this story that Lance is going to jump into right now. Take it over, Lance. Tell him.
Well, look, we're talking about the Epstein document drop for anybody that's just joining the show. And look, there's a lot. There's a lot to digest here. There's a lot to unpack. We can't recover everything we did. The show will be up. You can take the live link. You can share it far and wide. But let's talk about 2021 to 2025 in this chronological order of Epstein's involvement. As you guys know, right then, Bitcoin, there was a Bitcoin, had that colonial pipeline hack. Of course, the FBI recovered the assets, which a lot of people started wondering, how could they track the assets? That's what triggers a lot of backdoor suspicion. How did they know what happened? During that time period towards 2025, we see Trump proposed XRP as a strategic reserve in 2024, and then later corrected to Bitcoin amid backlash. Now, the word I get, Brad Garlinghouse is saying that XRP is part of the strategic reserve. He's come out and kind of connected the dots for everybody. But what's interesting is, who made Trump do that? Was that David Sachs? Was it somebody else? It was interesting that Bitcoin wasn't part of the strategic reserve to begin with. It was Solana, XRP. It was XRP, Solana, and Ethereum, and maybe some of the ISO 20022 tokens, but they never really got around to that. So Solana launched in 2020. They gained traction via FTX and Alameda. But it was interesting that FTX and Alameda, overlap with Epstein's Deltec bank ties. And then you get FTX's implosion. You guys know they figure out it was a Ponzi scheme and FTX stole money, and all the people that were working with them were snitching on him. His little girlfriend got out. George, she's looking for a boyfriend. Maybe there's opportunity there for you.
Really?
SBF's his ex.
Yeah, but did they let her have any money, though?
I don't know. She might have a hidden wallet. Who knows? Who knows what she's got?
She's not easy on the eyes, bro. It's like,
no, she is not easy on the eyes.
She might need a week of beauty. Let me send it to my people.
The problem is you don't drink anymore, so you can't even have a couple of drinks to act like she's not that bad.
Yeah, there's no beer goggles anymore with me.
No. All right, so 2026, these files start getting unsealed. Here we are, and there's a lot. I'm sure there's some that we didn't even cover on this show. Some people may tell us, hey, you didn't cover this or that. But here's the point. These Epstein files are not just a scandal. Everybody wants, it's the biggest scandal. It's not just a scandal. They're an indictment of crypto's potential rigged beginnings. Maybe Bitcoin's throne was built on elite peddling, MIT backdoors, and suppression of innovators like XRP and Solana. Now, there's no guarantee here. We don't have all the details. And I'll be honest, I don't know how many documents the DOJ never included in this last dump. Who knows how many things were taken out of there? I have no idea. And there's no way to know. So I think in this darkness, hope is emerging. I think XRP's legal triumphs prove that utility trumps manipulation. Solana's post-FTX boom shows, in my opinion, that scalable tech can't be buried forever. And I think, for us, it's primetime drama on this show. You're getting, retail warriors versus, pedo coin overlords, pedo coin elites. It's really hard to say. But the point is, you have to demand justice. If you have questions, then you should send out FOIA requests. I think Ripple should pull a lawsuit and demand full transparency. Potentially, there's a bull run ahead, but the sell-off right now, I don't know what to tell you. Is it because people knew about it? Because it's funny. These documents came out, on the 31st, George? Is that right? Or do I have that right?
The files?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. The 31st.
The sell-off of Bitcoin and a lot of other cryptos started on the 29th. Is that just random timing? Or is it because some people knew and they started telling their friends? So, the point is, when you have selective prosecution like that and selective law enforcement, where you protect Bitcoin and you target competitors, I think the government is vulnerable to billions in liabilities. I mean, that's orchestrated suppression. Of course, it also explains, the stagnant price growth of XRP. Everything they've got, their fundamentals really warrant, in my opinion, stratospheric valuations. They should have gone through the roof long ago. But the SEC lawsuit hung over him. Gary Gensler was very vocal and anti-Ripple. I think it's going to be a tough deal. But with the cross-border utility is unmatched for XRP. They say it's going to be the replacement for Swift. They're already checking it now, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's what I think is interesting. George and I did a little research while you guys were on the break. And this is something for the people that are suing the Epstein estate. He invested $3 million. That was only 1% of Coinbase, less than 1% at the time. Coinbase was valued at about 400 million right then. Now, it looks like there are emails that indicate that Coinbase's co-founder, Fred Ursum, was aware of Epstein's involvement, though it's unclear whether a planned meeting ever took place. But here's what I think is interesting, George. You mentioned that he sold half of his stake.
That's what I found, pretty much. Whether it's true or not,
I don't know exactly what the $3 million investment equated to. Okay, I don't really know. It's less than 1%, of course, because it was a $400 million valuation. $3 million is what he bought. He would have had to buy $4 million to get a full 1%. So it sounds like he got 75% of 1%. So he sold 0.375. Here's my question, George. What the company now went public, and it's now valued, I think, at 50 or 60, $55 billion or something. So it went public in 2021. Where's the rest of his stock? Who's in control of it?
It's with the Epstein estate. Everything's in the Epstein estate.
But I never heard there was any Coinbase stock in the Epstein estate. Did you? Because I didn't.
I didn't. You know what? I haven't fully looked. I can't. I'd be lying if I
looked
said
at
yes
some
or
of
no.
this stuff. There was somebody did a post on it. He owned a lot of stuff, real estate and investments. But I don't remember ever seeing Coinbase in there because I think it would have stood out to me. Now, some people said he kind of cloaked this purchase through that entity and then a second entity. I saw somebody talking about it online. For anybody in the audience, it's really, maybe you can track down. I don't know. But let's face it, 1% of 50 billion is 500 million. So, right? Am I right about that? 500 million, isn't it?
No.
Well, how much?
10% would be that. 1% is like 50 million.
No, 10% would be 5 billion.
Wait, how much is the total, Lance?
Right now, 50 billion.
And what do you want to know?
I want to know what 0.375 of 50 billion is.
0.375
of 50 billion.
Hold on. Can't ask me to do math this early in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Is 0.375 50 billion is 50 billion, right?
50 billion.
It's saying 0.375 is 18 billion 75. No, that can't be right.
No, you don't have the math right.
No.
Here's my point. 1% is 500 million. So I'm guessing that his stake is worth somewhere around 300 and some odd million because it's 37.5%. So I believe, let's see, is that right? And it's a big number. What I'm going to tell you is that is a big number. So for his estate, but here's the interesting thing, George. It's not the only thing he owned. He also, he backed another
maybe
Bitcoin.
187 million.
That sounds close. Well, might be a little low, but it's okay. It's okay. The point is, Epstein also backed Bitcoin-focused Blockstream in 2014, but that one he sold right away because he said there was a conflict of interest. So he didn't make any money. I don't know if he had any. George, did he have any other crypto investments that we don't know about? I mean, he might own obviously Bitcoin and other things, but I've never heard any discussions about Epstein owning Bitcoin. Have you?
No. I mean,
which I'm wondering, does that mean he has a hidden wallet somewhere?
Who knows? Possible. Maybe Ghislaine has access to
Maybe
it.
She's got a little Bitcoin stashy somewhere.
I want to go over some of the code and stuff about early stages of Bitcoin real quick, Lance. That's okay. This way to straighten some people out with everything. So pay attention. So when we talk about Bitcoin's code, is it manipulate this and that? But they had a few glitches. You had 184 billion Bitcoin that was minted. and that was real part. That was August 2010, and that was an overflow bug that was in early Bitcoin code, which led to this transaction. Happens, right? They fixed it. Developers got on it. They knew about it. Then you had the CVE 2018-171144. This is another bug in the Bitcoin core code, and that was responsibly closed. It involved a situation where, under certain conditions, the software could accept a block that spent the same inputs twice and potentially create conditions of inflation. But it was never exploited on a Bitcoin mainnet. Developers patched that bug and coordinated upgrades before any real damage was possible. Now, these disclosures around it were sometimes staged to encourage nodes to update before the full details were broadly published. So, yeah, there was vulnerabilities. They did exist in Bitcoin's early software history. But it was all fixed. It was all changed. Now, the Epstein angle. Let me get to that. There is no solid evidence that Epstein printed Bitcoin and manipulated supply, what you're seeing people talk about out there. What we see, he donated funds to MIT, Media Lab, and Digital Currency Initiative. Because they were strapped for cash, he donated. How he was brought in to donate, I don't know. But there's no credible evidence connecting Epstein directly to Bitcoin's protocol design. And that, or its first wallet keys, or the creation of Satoshi's early blocks. So you get claims like Epstein printed Bitcoin are narrative embellishment on social media that are not grounded in verifiable tech history. So don't say that stuff. I don't want to hear it. Don't believe the hype. They had early bugs. They had software things, but it was fixed. Now, talk about Satoshi, right? Now, they talked about this since early inception. And they said it's definitely a concern that if Satoshi is truly revealed, one of two things will happen. People will abandon the belief of DeFi and it will fail, or people will realize that no matter what we do, the economy will always be controlled by the government and they'll just continue along using Bitcoin. Now, the reason why people inside of Bitcoin don't want the public to know who Satoshi is, listen to this, and this is coming. I have a friend of mine that worked with Bitcoin in early stages. All right, it's because it will ruin everybody's dream of freedom, and people need that belief, so they eventually we could be free. It is what it is. But now, if you go back in time, if you really look at how Bitcoin was created, go back to the 1980s and 90s. There were cryptographers. They're already dreaming about digital cash. You had David Chaum, who created DigiCash and eCash. And these systems use cryptography to allow anonymous digital payments. They were elegant, ahead of their time, and completely centralized. A bank still had to sit in the middle. When the company died, the money died with it. Then was Hashcash in 1997 by Adam Beck. That wasn't a currency, but it was introduced as proof of work. What was that? The very engine Bitcoin later used to secure its network. Then you had Nick Szabo. He proposed Bitgold in 1998. That was a one hauntingly close thing to Bitcoin in spirit, decentralized, based on cryptographic puzzles, scarce by design, but Bitgold never solved the crucial problem of consensus. How strangers agree on its own without central referee. Then you had WeDie. They described B-Money around the same time, getting brilliant blueprint, but never fully implemented. Then in 2004, you had Hal Finney. He created reusable proofs of work, RPOW. That was another big stepping stone, digital tokens backed by computation. Still not quite a currency, though, but still relying on trusted components. So you look at that. All those stages, what were they? Think about his rehearsals. Then you had Satoshi Nakamoto. What he did in 2000 and 2009, he was a conductor. He orchestrated all that. He put it all together. He didn't invent every instrument. He formed the orchestra. Blockchain as a data structure already existed in fragments. Proof of work existed. Cryptographic signatures existed. Peer-to-peer networks existed. But Bitcoin was the first system to combine them all in a self-sustaining economic machine that required no company, no CEO, no permission slip from the world. So there you go. I can go on and on. There's so much stuff, but I can tell you right now, Epstein had nothing to do with Bitcoin code. He's not freaking Satoshi. Read the white paper. We should do, Lance, we should go over the white paper and break a lot of things down for people one day. I think that'd be a great episode.
I don't think he had the influence that some people are trying to allege, but I do think that he was a very convincing salesperson.
Yeah, I think,
and I wouldn't doubt if he influenced some of the decisions that were being made during that time period. Now, I don't know that necessarily means he had any access to code, but I could see that he was trying to get next to these developers. He was trying to talk to the people that were influential in Bitcoin after the Bitcoin Foundation fell apart. So I believe he had some influence, but I don't know that influence leads to him having a back door. I think that's taking the conclusion maybe too far.
Yeah. I mean, listen, there's a lot of people trying to get close to Trump. Doesn't mean they're getting anywhere. They're doing anything.
No doubt.
I mean,
Epstein tried to get next to Trump and never really pulled it off.
So look at it. If you look at, so Bitcoin code, it's transparent and it has lots of eyes on it. Believe me, it has lots of eyes. So in any case, especially if there isn't even a solid accusation, let alone evidence that MIT directed nefarious code changes, if that was an allegation, the first question should be, well, what code specifically did MIT direct and what proof is there and how was it harmful? Think about that. Let's close this out. We got to close out. Yeah.
I think the harmful part's important, but of course, never jump to conclusions. Always double check. We try to give you the information, but please, if you think we got something wrong, happy to listen. Hit us up over at info@thebigmig.com. If you got a topic, an education piece, something else you'd like us to cover. We're always looking for great interviews here on the Crypto Power Hour, the #1 crypto show on Rumble. Now follow us, X. It's Solum Global, Crypto Power Hour, G. Valentine, Lance Miliaccio on the Big Mig Show. And of course, if you'd like to sponsor the Crypto Power Hour, we're getting tons and tons of views. Hit us up over at info@thebigmig.com. Of course, hit that follow button on the way out the door. And if you can throw us a Rumble Rant tip or two, or maybe a couple of Satoshis, we take crypto on thebigmig.com. You can tip us in Satoshis. We're not afraid. That's it. Crypto Power's out of here. George, last words, my brother.
We'll see you at 11 a.m. today for the Big Mig Show. It's Wednesday. It's hump week, hump day, whatever. Enjoy it.
Are you ready to stand up for your community and support your local sheriff? Join the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association and become a vital member of the Sheriff's Citizens Posse. At CSPOA.org, we empower citizens like you through weekly webinars, arming you with the knowledge to back your constitutional county sheriff. Together, we can uphold our Constitution and ensure liberty and justice for all. Your community needs you now more than ever. Visit CSPOA.org and join the Sheriff's Citizens Posse today. Make a difference. Stand for freedom. That's CSPOA.org. Your country, your fight, your future.
What if you could predict your financial future? And what if you could trade on it? Introducing Block Trust IRA, the future in your hands. An astonishing 88,000 millionaires were created last year from the Bitcoin boom, and you could be next. Block Trust IRA is the only crypto management firm powered by AI-driven strategies, ranked #1 in the world by Bitcoin Magazine. The Block Trust IRA platform is built for everyone, from first-time buyers to seasoned investors. Predictive AI technology that was once only reserved for insiders and elites is now available to you. It's time to leave the old buy and hold strategies behind. Your assets are protected with military-grade security, offline cold storage, and $200 million in insurance. Visit BlockTrustIRA.com to book your free consultation and ask how to claim up to $2,500 in deposit bonuses today. Bitcoin changed the game. AI changes the strategy.
Hi folks, I'm here today to introduce you to the Prepper Bar from PrepperBar.com, the most unique precious metals product we have seen in a long time. These 62-gram bars are perforated and easily broken down into your choice of 3 different sizes to fit a multitude of needs. Whether it be from asset protection from inflation, economic turmoil, or its unique utility for barter and trade, the Prepper Bar makes a perfect gift for all the precious metal lovers out there. Exclusively made here in the USA and selling out fast. Available in both gold and silver, these slim Prepper Bars fit neatly in your wallet, and their utility enables use in any situation.
Forged through rigorous training and honed by the finest instructors on Earth, these canine units serve beside our nation's warriors as they fight to preserve what we cherish. When these warriors complete their duty, the Warrior Dog Foundation provides them with a home deserving of the service they've given us all. At our state-of-the-art kennels, they receive rehabilitation and care suitable for heroes, because that's what they are. Be a part of giving them a future today. Visit warriordogfoundation.org.